of the finals.
The best way to get it done, Hot Jukes, as we all know, is with the Infinix GT20 Pro. With dual gaming chipsets and 144Hz AMOLED screen, the GT20 Pro will equip teams with up to 120 FPS, which is the first batch of supported devices, offering esports level performance and visually stunning experiences in the 2024 PMWC. The plane path, North George over to Milta. It's going to cut a little bit far away, but you can drop west coast, grab some vehicles, rotate down. Military base potentially a little bit difficult to get to here.
Yes, it's going to be for sure. And one of the teams that likes to drop into military base is going to be none other than 4MV. So let's see where they decide to go. They should have a couple of secondary drop locations, but we also know where a few of these teams are definitely going to drop. Alpha 7 already out the plane in North George, where they're just nice and happy.
I'm looking right now at the South George drop, Alolex IHC, and I think, yeah, that's... Wait, who else is that? That's Twisted Minds.
Twisted Minds, yeah.
Over towards South George.
Great.
They are entangled right now, with Demo sort of in the middle of that Twisted Minds split. Potential for danger here. Playing that crates position for Twisted Minds. They'll have sightlines out to the east. They should have seen this parachute happen with a west coast rotation potential in this circle. It could get dangerous for them.
Yes, it can. And, you know, one team it could definitely get dangerous for is going to be Vampire, because Vampire normally likes to take Primorsk, but unfortunately, just due to this plane path, they decided to go their secondary drop location all the way towards Milta. So I'm looking to see them just loot up very, very quickly here, get some vehicles, and try to head to Prim as fast as they can.
Could be on the cards for them, but they've got a lot of teams in their way. Got to be pretty tricky. We did see Ragey as well move out and take a vehicle for Reject near that outpost for Twisted Minds, so potential slow down on that angle. A lot of teams dropping out to the east side of this island are going to have to make their way west, which makes the exit for Pachinki pretty important to get done timely, in a timely fashion. DX Xavier going to be playing up in that angle. For MV, they are actually heading out further east, so they want to grab... Okay, they were just heading towards the buggy to get an extra vehicle. They're going to turn around. I was going to be surprised that they were going to go further east, but no, they were just grabbing the vehicle, sending back out west towards IWNRX, who generally play that very pier west bridge split. It looks like they're going to take up that mantle once more. 4MV could go even further, could actually go over towards Primorsk, like you were talking about potential for Vampire to do later on. Yeah,
let's see what they decide to do. And another thing that I'm noticing right now is Power. Power, we normally see them try to take that Gatka area, kind of try to, you know, land kind of near DRX, take some loot, and then hopefully get that position. But I think after that hot drop, they decided to go to their secondary location over near Yasnaya. So everybody trying to play it very carefully right now. You can see 4MV on the road. And no, yeah, it looks like 4MV are deciding to go to their main drop spot. So they got a vehicle and are heading all the way down to military base.
Interesting. Yeah, they are actually going to commit to it and go all the way there. It would be interesting to see how easy it is for them to get back off of this one. You could potentially grab a boat and try and play for that west coast if you grab the south side, but I'm not too sure about this from 4MV, actually. I feel like they will get loot because of it, but that bridge is going to get packed because you've got that hard west shift. I guess teams are going to prioritize more having a foothold into these next circles.
Yeah, you can see there the picture. We see a gentleman in the stands. That is none other than Papa Mythic. That's right. Mythic's dad traveling all the way over here to see his son make it happen. So I love to see that there from Team Liquid. They're going to be over near that shelter area, which is a very dominant position, especially if we see a zone head towards that side. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen in this game, so they're going to have to make that travel pretty quickly. They're already in vehicles and on the move.
There we go.
You can see him. Look at him.
Hey, for the camera. Supporting his kid, man. What can you do? Watching his kid become a man here in Riyadh in the PMWC. Hopefully getting a couple more points than they did last match, though, because they only got one. Don't bring it up to him. I'm sure it's a sore spot. But over on the east side, with Power behind them, Team Liquid gonna have to rotate past. Looks like they're doing that now. Boom as well. A little bit closer to the center now, heading towards that Gatka Fields area. DXA having left Pachinki in that central area. You can see they're going to be scouting one another out. They're going to be aware of each other's presence now. Twisted Minds trying to move south from that South George. They extracted themselves successfully from their entanglement with Alolex IHC over on the north side.
if I know Mythic like I know Mythic, I know why his dad's there.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you that right now. I guarantee you, Mama Mythic was like, nah, no way my mijo is going all the way across the world by himself. Dad, you better go with him. So it's good to be able to see him traveling over here with the son and watching him play against some of the best players on the planet here.
Oh, wow.
For a crazy prize pool, and we're gonna see who's gonna try to get that biggest chunk of it here real soon as we're starting to see some shots ring out due to these early rotations.
We've got approximately 15 million teams right now in the center of the circle. It seems to have gotten real packed real quick. Twisted Minds, DRX, I think, who else is in there? We've got DXavier trying to poke their noses in, Boomer in the middle. Everybody has tried to get very central, and we are starting to see a little bit of a rebound off of that. I think everyone basically wanted the same two compounds.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, everyone's just trying to get the most central they possibly can. They saw how that edge style play worked out in Sandhawk, and it didn't work out that well.
Hey, Talon did it quite well.
Except for Talon, right? But Talon's strategy was just hanging so far back in the blue and just, like I said, like vultures, just cleaning up everything that was left, and it worked out great. 10 eliminations. They're in 3rd place so far, so hopefully they can kind of make a normal match of this one here. Now, they are going to be in that one of my favorite places, just south of Everest, as we watch OLES go for the backflip.
Hits the one rotation.
Got it!
Front tire into the dirt. As we're back on board with him.
Front flip? No way.
Yeah. I mean, you had to do it to him. What was that? An excellent replay, a clean backflip, followed by an engagement. After tumbling off the bike, he loses speed and goes down. That tumble off the bike just cost him his life. TJP lose a player to a misplay on a bike that should not have happened.
OLES in the biggest tournament of the year so far decides to go for the front flip. Hey, you know what?
The first one was great.
They should give him at least 1 point for that.
I mean, the first one was great, right?
Yeah.
That front flip, clean, landed it, no risk. The second one, you can't just be randomly jumping off the bike. At this level, you know, people like Maxman, people like Calaris, you know, those guys can take the dive and say, oh, accidents happen, guys, you know, right, on their drive arounds. I'm pretty prone to doing that myself as well. But at this level, that should never be happening. You should never be jumping off that bike because you've just, for some reason, decided to go for a flip in the middle of the game.
It's like the old high school basketball days, you know? You're in the wide open court, all you gotta do is go for the layup, but instead you stop early and try to go for the 3. You hear that whistle, instantly benched after that one. Right? Well, we'll see how TJP is gonna deal with that one. I'm sure OLES is gonna get an earful after that, because that's a critical one, especially considering that, you know, they were in 2nd place going to this match. Hopefully the remaining 3 make it up for him, right? Just to have a great game regardless to kind of help mitigate some of that damage.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Bad news. TJP, 15 points right now, playing on his 3. We've seen what 3 players can do from Talon, but on this circle, it's going to get hairy. Next circle, just about to come through. Jukes. It's a hard Southwest shift. That puts Primorsk in play, that puts Quarry in play.
Right now, I'm looking at 4MV. How are they going to decide to get into this next zone? Do they go on the edge of Sosnovka, try to get a boat, maybe try to head into the water here? Because the bridge is going to be extremely, extremely dangerous. You can see Tianba already over there near Primorsk. They're in a good spot. Team Liquid find a nice central position, but they're going to be mighty close to Boom Esports. And, Ayala, you got to get moving. And unfortunately, not able to make it away in time.
Goes down. Boom able to extract what is most likely going to be a point from Team Liquid on this rotation. As they try and punch through the middle. Actually run down by Razy there, so that is going to sting. Team Liquid, 3 players.
Little hesitation there from Team Liquid, if I'll be honest right there. I mean, they could have just taken that position and committed to it, but you could just see, I think they got a little bit too greedy, tried to head a little bit more central, or maybe they were worried that there was some players hiding in that building, so they kind of just waited it out a little longer, either or. Fortunately, not working out for the best. They do end up losing 1, but they do have a good solid spot, so we'll give that to them.
I'm looking at the West Coast Road right now. Alpha 7 are leading the charge down south, but Alolex IHC very, very close behind them. Probably Alpha 7 going to be able to swing in a little bit quicker than Alolex IHC. I wouldn't expect them to clash immediately, but potential for it to get a little bit hotter on that western edge. Not too much contestation, but power is swinging in on that north side as well. So it could be pretty spicy in the time being. Twisted Minds holding a compound that's surrounded by hilltops. A lot of teams are going to be looking to take up position on those hilltops.
Mythic.
Reject goes down, and Mythic able to take a scalp for himself.
Taking out one of the MVPs that we saw last year, Reiji from Team Reject. The beautiful knock from Mythic. You can see that focus, trying to be able to soak up some more points for his team and make up for that loss that they had on that rotation. That'll help for sure. You can see 4MV, they do make their way through the bridge and onto the pier side of things, but they are on the edge, and you can see they have their eyes on IWNRX.
A trade back and forth. The two players are down, one on each side. 4MV's player a little bit lower. Zebwolf should be pick-upable, but they have to get there first. Swain needs to establish a perimeter. Doc going to be suppressed by the nades coming on through. Potential for this to get a little bit nasty, as Doc has another nade in hand. 3 more in the pocket as well. Popped it out. Wary behind the building. The healing come through. Both teams have got their reses on.
They're mighty close, mighty close. You see they got that Molotov. The Mollies do break down doors. So he's going to go ahead and use that. Next zone does pop. So 4MV, if the zone goes away from them, you're going to see a little bit more urgency from them to get this fight done a little bit quicker rather than later. But they do have one of their players on that front line position knocked. That's going to make things much more difficult.
Yeah, Doc went down on that forward position. Look at Frozen side angle. That's what we're going to be looking at for the remaining parts of this fight. The circle popped as well, and it's over towards Primorsk. A hard south shift on this one. We're going to that southwest point, and as time goes on, Vampire are more and more unhappy that they didn't drop there.
That is right, and unfortunately 4MV do lose that player, and with this zone being further towards Primorsk, they're going to be out of it. So yeah, 4MV has to take that fight sooner rather than later, but the Istanbul Wildcats next Ruya said, nah, you know what? You guys can go ahead and we'll fight a little bit later on. Let's get into zone first.
Frozen's off angle for them was so impactful on IWNRX. Alliance trying to make their way through. They have lost a player. I think DX Xavier was the team to pick that one up. And on that south side, it's getting more and more close range. That ridgeline that sits populated mostly by trees just to the north and northeast of Primorsk. It runs along the north side of this circle. Just south of Quarry is such a difficult part of terrain to navigate when teams start to take up residency here. You could see Alula XIHC on that western edge right now trying to push on in. And they've had a lot of contestation, but I'm more interested in Alpha 7. They've sent all the way into Primorsk now.
Yeah, they decided to go very hard central. Normally we see them very comfortable on the edge, but I think you could tell that they have had a different change of heart when it comes to this stage. They've been putting in that homework, and it is paying off. It paid off already inside of Sandhawk as we watch the replay of that beautiful shot from Mythic, busting out Reggie out the vehicle and taking him down. Now we're watching Demo with the knock on the Mafioso, catches him slipping, and he's gonna get the thirst.
Yeah, that was that replay on the approach for Alula XIHC. I said they were both on that western road. Alpha 7 managed to get into Primorsk, but at the cost of one of their players, right? Mafioso going down. And now, in Primorsk, they're kind of locked in on the south side, right? I mean, we've got about a 40% water circle right now, which means that any territory is good territory, but with the next circle most likely going to be pushing them out of Primorsk. It's a really dangerous position for them to hold right now.
I think they're very comfortable there, though. I mean, there are 3 players right now. They lost one, so you know what they say? Let's go ahead and err on the side of safety. Let's get toward the buildings and, you know, hold it down for now. If the zone does go to them, they're going to be in an excellent position, right? If it does end up going north, they have a lot of coverage and a lot of buildings to kind of leapfrog their way through. And I'll tell you what, if any team could do that, it's Alpha 7. They'd rather depend on their gun skill than just driving in a vehicle to a better position.
Vampire are trying to make their bid for the northwestern side. They've gone for a long rotate over the north of Quarry, and they're going to push in behind just Godless for Alula XIHC if they spot him. Take a look at that northwest side. That's what I'm talking about here. Godless into the vehicle and has to evacuate. Alula XIHC going to push Demo backwards as well. Tony K leading the charge for Vampire. Scraps going on in the meantime, and that's what you were talking about. Down towards Primorsk, the circle goes as Vampire clash on the northwestern side. First player to go down to Godless is Tony K. That leading charge, and a second as well goes their way. Nades ringing out. Wow. And Team Liquid in the meantime on the northeast side going to be taking names. Outlaw XIHC holding strong against Vampires, and they meet a brick wall as they try and move in.
And there they go, looking to just punish Vampire on the late rotation. Down to just one single player. IHC doing a great job of just holding that ridge line. Now they should be able to get into the zone relatively easy. Let's take a look, though, up north. Quarry, Talon, and Power getting into it once again. This is Power's opportunity to get some revenge for Sandhawk.
2 players remain for Power. Talon have 2 as well. A 2 versus 2 on the southwest point of Quarry, up on that high ground. Nobody else is nearby. They're locked in the cage match. Kante and Fidan playing on for Power. Linux and Misery for Talon. They might look to just disengage it, actually. Try and break the shackles of the fight.
I don't think they are doing that at all. Power knows exactly who they're fighting against, and they want that revenge. As we watch, look at that. Tianba putting in some work. And now we're going to look at Twisted Mind. So Team Liquid do make it on over to Primorsk. And they are going to be playing neighbors with quite a few teams.
They have 6 eliminations, though. They have been a nuisance in the neighborhood. Nobody too happy with them on their road, and another knock goes their way, adding up to 7 now total on the boards. This is brilliant for Team Liquid. There's a knock sent their way. Mythic is down, but that's going to be rezzed up by Chief. In the meantime, DXavier trying to hold out. This is northeast side, close towards Ferry Pier. The nades of Tianba. There is no way you get your player out of that one. And now the remnants of DXavier, 2 players down to the right-hand side of Shan, maybe actually caught unawares as IWNRX back up on the beach side.
Yeah, IWNRX, they heard those shots. They said, let's try to third-party this action, but they know they're in a very, very bad position right now, so they just can't push needlessly. They need a good opportunity in order to make that push. DXavier are completely stuck on the bottom of this hill. If IWNRX weren't in that position, they would have already been gone.
Power finally loses another. Easy is there, by the way, for Power, but only 2 of them really in this scrap, and a knock over towards a Power player. Kante is down. Misery trying to descend now. They didn't go for the full-out brawl. They have just been on. Oh! Misery wedges the Bucky, steps out into the blue, and a hail of bullets from Fidan. That's going to take him down. There's no 2 ways about it. Can Linux get anything done? I don't think so. He's just going to turn tail straight into the fire.
He is out of there. And meanwhile, IWNRX now on the push, punishing Tianba. That's 5 eliminations for them so far. Frozen throwing some smokes up there. That's going to eliminate their sight lines and allow them to push. And here comes Swain, looking to punish them at the vehicle. Popped out just a little too early.
Shan was able to get some miraculous plays under his belt during those group stages, but he's under fire from Swain now, and there's a bit of pressure on the back. A lot of smoke billowing from under the hood of XC's vehicle, and they're going to have to draw up short. They have to take control here and try and see what they can do. 3 players alive. Shan needs to heal. They've not got a lot of time to play with. Last player for Talon in the meantime, as Easy bears down upon him.
Easy's got the nade locked and loaded. He's cooking it. He's cooking it. And it's good! Oh. Goodbye, Talon. Power getting a little taste of that sweet Sandhawk revenge.
Look at the circle, and again, Alpha 7 get blessed on this south shift. TJB as well with a brilliant position. These are our top 2 teams in the top 2 positions in this circle.
That's right.
Now. This could be a really fast opening for these guys.
Alpha 7 making that gamble towards Primorsk, paying off great. The zone just went to them, and they are holding it down there. They have plenty of coverage with those buildings, and it's be very difficult for any team to just push up on them for free. And you can see Carrillo is doing exactly what he's supposed to, just play keep away. You don't want a team just to be able to push up on you. So Alpha 7 are in a great spot here, and I'll be honest, Alula IHC, beautiful rotation.
Yeah, going along that beach side, trying to use that terrain cover against Alpha 7. Only 1 player was stepping out towards them as Power finally lose their final member. Tianba pick up the point. Yeah, Alula IHC able to find that south point of Primorsk under the watchful eyes of Alpha 7. And that probably mostly comes down to the fact that Demo was able to get that combat Mafioso, right? If you have 4 players of Alpha 7, you make that rotation under so much more pressure.
That's right, and Alpha 7 picked the right buildings to hold, because if they were holding that edge where Alula IHC landed, then they could have just cut in the corner, and now they would have been circumvented by them. So a great decision for them right now. I'm looking at IWNRX, though. They're still north of the zone, and they're going to have to find their way down pretty quickly as Twisted Minds finally are out of this match. Only 1 elimination, unfortunately, for them.
Boom, looking for the res. 2 players left on the north side as Alolex IHC actually trying to wind their way through the streets here towards TJB, who have taken a knock over towards the beach warehouses. Team Liquid a little bit beyond them. TJB really have been suffering here. A And I mean, it's all thanks to Alolex IHC, right? That rotation in, that strip up the east side, they have managed to take ground.
I love this from them, though. They are playing this very aggressive. They could have been happy to just play there in the south and just wait out for the next zone, but they do realize if the zone goes away from them, that all eyes are going to be on them. So they said, let's not waste time. Let's start pushing up little by little right now, apply some pressure, and put ourselves in a better position for this next circle. Big heads-up play from Alula IHC.
You can see the angles that are currently held by IWNRX. That third-party information comes down. They try and descend. The high ground suppression as they try and stop the knocks going through. But Kine is found. Swain is low. And there's another torn out of the vehicles on the descent. TJB catch IWNRX sleeping.
Oh, I mean, IWNRX, I think, just pushed a little too early. They happened to push when it was completely silent. So the second they go, all eyes are on them. And like, oh, free points over here. Let's take some of that. So they got punished. Just unfortunate timing on that rotation.
Tianpa pushing it on the northwest side. DRX trying to slow them down, and they'll do just that. Drawn back, and DRX keeping up the points tally now. 6 eliminations on the northwestern side. Not too many neighbors either. And they're going to push towards the central glut. Next circle comes in now.
Let's see where it goes. Who's going to have the advantage in this one? Is he going to send her up?
Oh,
no, it doesn't. It does go a little bit to that eastern side. So now Alpha 7 have to make a decision here. Do we just try to push up a little bit early, try to get a more central spot? I don't think so. I think they're just going to hold it now, forced to play, clear out their backs, and then deal what's up front a little bit later on.
Team Liquid as well with a decent position on this, but they are going to be having to be the break point for the waves of teams coming in from the western side. Alpha 7 potentially turning their attention there, but DRX is the main threat to Alpha 7 right now. You cannot move if you're Alpha 7 until they're gone, or until they make their move first.
And yeah, I think even bigger threat's going to be Alula IHC. They were so smart to push up more central a little earlier on, especially with this rotation, and you can see them putting pressure onto teams all over the place. Boom Esports down to their final player, gets another confirmation there. And let's see, actually, I don't even think he's going to get this res off. Nope, he goes to heal himself first. And his teammate goes down.
See what you can do as a solo. Alpha 7, they are making their push. They're trying to hold DRX out. They're staying where they are. They know they have a little bit more to step forwards, but they're going to deal with this backfill first. Knock over towards the backlines of DRX means that 2 minutes for the circle to close is going to be eaten up a little bit, but the rest has already come through, and a little bit more time now for DRX to try and play around this one. Alolex IHC going to be fully aware that this fight's scrapping on.
And this is a really tough fight for Alpha 7 because they're down a man, and Carrillo's so far in the backlines, I'm not sure he's in a position to help, so it's going to be most likely a 4v2 between DRX and Revo and McGrellin from Alpha 7. Let's see if those two players are going to be able to hold it down. Actually, no, Carrillo is able to find a position in this fight, so it is a pure 4v3. One nade from DRX on the Alpha 7 could be so punishing, though.
Same both ways, though. Nade towards the back, doesn't find Revo. He sits, he lies in wait. Behind the smoke, steps up to the shot, but doesn't connect. Stands in the fire and goes down through the window. McGrellin as well. Carrillo now is the last hope for Alpha 7 to try and keep this train going. DRX crossing, though, and they are getting scythed straight on through. The off-angle shots from Team Liquid to keep their countrymen in this match.
Woo, Carrillo saying, thank you, my Brazilian brothers, because that helped out a whole lot. But this nade from QZ could spell disaster. And it does. It gets the finish on the McGrellin, and Carrillo is out of there. That's Alpha 7 done for.
Vengeance, though, on the minds of Team Liquid. Brazilian teams, you don't want to mess with them, and they got to spray you down. Woo! You try and take that fight, and DRX fall. A lot of eliminations found, and they're up into 3rd place on the match. But TJP still have legs. Alolex IHC looking interminable right now.
Looking too good. I mean, these guys have been pushing all the way from the edge. This game was definitely not given to them. They have worked very hard for this one. They're in a solid position. They still have their entire team up. They're the only squad with 4. Let's see where this next zone goes, though. It could definitely make things tricky.
Demo spreading out wide, looking for a rotation on towards the beach side for Alolex IHC. Demo gets around that headland, and that could be pretty valuable, if not just for the information on that break, but also for the angle he can provide. You can see exactly what he's trying to do here. Try to light up those teams on the coastline, try to slow down TJB. Alex already with a breach over towards Team Liquid, a little bit further north out there, and another chunk of damage taken out. Team Liquid suffering on that northern side. Boom, gonna be giving them trouble as well. Yummy Last player standing for them, but he's not going down just yet.
Alula IHC just putting in work, just causing chaos on everybody else. As you see everybody just holding their position, trying to defend. Alula IHC is on the move right now. Mythic making a nice shot onto Alex. That's going to slow him down a little bit. And you can see him up close and personal. Tries to throw that nade to get that confirmation. Does he get it? In the meanwhile, his teammate Chief gets knocked. But Alula IHC are focusing on so many different squads. They definitely need to start narrowing that focus on one team at a time.
They're not going for a full push just yet, which is why they haven't regrouped and gone as a full fist, because they are the only team with 4 players alive right now. Everybody else on 2 players or less. Yummy moving in to try and handle Team Liquid, but around the door frame. The shot connects just in time. Can Chief get this res onto Mythic?
Woo! And you can see his dad is staring right now, seeing what his son could do in this position. It's just Mythic and Chief. Mythic, man, he's got the dad buff right now. He's got 7 eliminations. He's crushing it.
Oh yeah, what a time to do it. Kind for IWNRX leading the charge on the coastline. Mythic does go down again. I think that was actually the flush. Paragin not going to last too much longer out in that water. He's gone for a swim. I don't think he's going to be able to get out. Don't even need a towel for that one. Alula IHC, though, just surrounding this lobby, trying to choke the life out of it, and so far, doing so successfully.
Yo, a legend in PUBG Mobile Esports. 8 eliminations for the squad. Godless crushing it right now for the team with a whole bunch of those. Make that 6, as a matter of fact. You can see Demo doing a great job. Trying to apply pressure to IWNRX. That knock, though, couldn't have been at a worse time.
This 2-2 split right now seems to be working out. They are able to just find this cover, hold these positions, and go for the 1-2 rezzing. You only need one player to get knocked to make that outpost really difficult to play. But because no other teams have more than 2 players alive, you can hold this for a lot longer than otherwise you would be able to.
Yeah, and IWNRX are just stuck regardless, right? Because there's still so many other players that are looking right at them. You got TJB looking in this direction. You got Paragin down to like half an HP, still hanging out in the water right now. Gonna have to make sure he breathes for air, though.
I think he's got that boat as cover from the north side and the terrain as cover from the buildings.
Perfect position for him. Now you can see how IHC started to throw out some smokes. They're trying to be able to group up together. If they're able to get that group, they're going to be practically unstoppable here.
They need to get back across that road. That smoke train needs to be cut through by Longs. Waiting for that crossing. It's all that's going to matter. If you can take 1 or 2 players down, it is huge news for TJB. Alex making the dash. Goes over for Alolex IHC. Godless holding the angle, waiting to regroup. Now he makes his move, and Alolex IHC moving those vehicles around, repositioning. The smoke trains has allowed Godless to get through, but one phase just at the end. It's not going to matter, though. Nobody's peeking the angle, and they are as one unit. They've been split for a while, but back together. Are they going to have the success they're looking for?
Let's see. Right now, the only thing that's going against them is Papa Blue, the blue zone. Ooh. If that blue zone decides to go north, they're going to be in big trouble. Other than that, they're looking pretty unstoppable right here. 8 eliminations, and they've just been non-stop pushing here. Let's see decide what's going to happen here in the next few moments. Because right now, TJB, they are the most central. And honestly, they have the best chance of this game, considering that there are so many fights going on, unless Alula IHC is able to get that knock. Team Liquid finally go down. This is stage 9, folks. The zone's about to go into nothing. Alula IHC needs to start throwing those smokes out. That's exactly what they're doing here, because they need to find a way to be able to get into a fair fight with TJB.
That pickup onto the Team Liquid player out in the west is huge. It allows them a clean flank on their position to be able to push up towards TJB. The smokes on the doorframe push TJB out the back and into the sightlines of IWNRX. They need this fight now. IWNRX going to crunch on in as well. Let's see where Alolex IHC go. And Demo straight into the mouth of the fight. Around to the outside of the warehouse now. They've got it surrounded.
That was the definition of offensive smokes. And now we're going to watch Alula IHC starting to press onto IWNRX. They're stuck in the water. There's nothing they can do. The only team that can stop them is TJB, but they're on the back foot as well. That nade could be good, though. Oh, just short of the rock.
Not going to quite make it. Paragin for DX Xavier as well could potentially have a say in this fight if he's able to find something. Swain goes down, and with it, IWNRX, they fall out of this one. So it is only now Paragin in the water. Alex goes down. Demo as well, moving in to look for the backup here. TJB holds strong for the time being. And Alola XIHC don't know that Paragin's there.
Oh, so smart of them, though. They're just going to get their reset. Oh, they caught him, so now there's no worries. They're just going to go for a quick reset here. Oh, that vehicle, if it would have gone a little further, would have knocked him. Ooh. Nice shots there from Flower. TJB are putting in work. Only 2 more.
One player now stands. It's just Zyo. Flower behind the vehicle, trying to step out wide. Zyo behind is on the shoreline. He's closer to the edge, and it's a 1 versus 1. Zyo needs to hold his nerve with a PP Bison. Trying to play off against Longs now for TJB. A nade in hand. It's cooking. Goes Long, steps back in. No damage done. Zyo breaks wide. Doesn't have as much HP as Longs, and he takes it. TJB with a 2 versus 4 hold. Out of nowhere.
Are you kidding me? I mean, it looked like Alola IHC were unstoppable, but TJB said, nah, not today. Some critical knocks were able to finish that out. A massive game for TJB Esports.
And then yet again, it is Seven's Dark Horse who started to step up. That survival stage has hardened this team into carbon steel, and they are scything through